Sometimes in this weird and wonderful world, strange things happen which are just impossible to explain. Is it magic? I think we can presume that doesn't exist. So, is it coincidence? Even with odds less than 1 in a million? This video is all about amazing examples of good luck and the most incredible coincidences out there on the web. Ready to take a look? Let's get it on! People have an exaggerated idea of how cool rock stars are. It's not our fault, they create that myth around them. But every now and again, a musician really does have a rock star moment so cool that it probably even surprises them. And not that they'd ever say that. So imagine how John Coffey felt when he was literally standing on the shoulders of his fans, catching a rogue cup of beer and drinking from it like he was just born to do that. You'll never see anything more rock and roll. There's no good explanation for what happens in this video. This girl must just be the luckiest person on earth because this has never happened to anyone else ever. When your ball starts rolling down the gutter, there's no getting it back. That's just how bowling works. You definitely can't expect it to suddenly jump back out at exactly the right spot and roll back to the center of the lane to give you a strike because, as I said, that's never happened. Except for this one time. I think 1 in a million is an understatement in this case. This video is just filled with things that only had a 1 in a million chance of happening. Marcus Ambrose suddenly had one of his wheels come loose in the middle of this race, so he pulled over to the side like anyone would. The loose wheel had other ideas though. It was determined to stay in the race, but it's also a very considerate driver. It stayed well out of everyone's way, and when it realized it wasn't going to win, it parked itself perfectly on top of all the other tires.
He needs some milk!
Perfect timing can be a wonderful thing. Lucky for everyone, this amazing moment was caught on camera. A split second earlier or later and the illusion wouldn't have worked. But as it happened, he managed to turn the stadium lights off by magic. At least it might as well be magic. There's no better explanation for that kind of impossible timing. All kinds of things can happen when someone crashes during a high-speed race, but you can normally predict what it's going to look like. You won't predict this one though. Somehow their wheel bars are locked together. And talk about a 1 in a million chance. The bike seems quite happy with that. They get to dance together while their riders run around shouting angrily because they can't get their bikes back. It's almost a better show than the actual race, and the cameramen seem to agree. If the performers of the silent movie era taught us anything, it's that you don't need fireworks to amaze an audience. Sometimes, all you need is a hat. Or in this case, a hat and an impossible coincidence. A front flip is cool and all, but most people have seen enough of them to not be too impressed anymore. But this is no ordinary front flip. This is the perfect double act. A man in his hat, a perfectly timed acrobatic team.
That's how Mafia works?
Seeing someone who looks like you can even be a bit eerie when you see them in photos or on TV, so imagine how this girl felt when she met her doppelganger face to face in a mall. It's amazing, but still, it's gotta be a bit creepy. It's happened once in everyone's life. You do something amazing and just can't believe you pulled it off. The disappointing part is, usually, you're the only person around to see it, and nobody will ever believe you. This man was lucky enough to have set up a camera for his moment, but judging by his reaction, he clearly never thought he'd actually throw that card just right to land perfectly. But he did. A perfect curve and a lot of luck, and the card landed exactly where his wildest dreams said it would.
Oh my.
Have you ever avoided the unavoidable? I know it sounds like an oxymoron, but this guy knows what I mean. What were the chances of the tree he was parked next to falling onto his car in the first place? The chances of it being naturally bent in exactly the right way to avoid touching the car when it fell over? Probably impossible. But that sort of unlucky luck seems to happen more on sports grounds than anywhere else. It's like pro sportsmen are magnets for impossible moments. Baden Kerr had his on this rugby field when he kicked the ball, like he does every day of his life, and it did something it had never done before and probably will never do again. He must be so confused. How do you know if you're meant to feel cool or weird when you do something that amazing, but it's the opposite of what you wanted to do?
The bar and catches it too. Fantastic work.
This is both the worst and best kick you'll ever see. How can it be both? Watch and be amazed. This kid doesn't manage to get the ball anywhere near the goal that's right in front of him, but he does manage to achieve something nobody would have ever thought possible. Instead of going in the goal, the ball soars over the fence and seamlessly through the open window of a passing car. Don't start thinking about how many things needed to be perfect for that to happen. It makes your brain hurt. Accuracy is key in all professional sports, but this is the kind of accuracy that humans can only achieve by mistake. Matt Joyce was just doing his usual batting practice against a pitching machine, so it's pretty lucky that cameras caught this moment. You might not realize what you're looking at the first time round, but he actually hits that ball back into the pitching machine. It's an impossibly small target, but the ball falls in effortlessly. It's the kind of moment that'll never happen again, but he doesn't even seem interested. A true pro keeps a cool head, I guess.
That escalated quickly.
One thing's for sure, professional football players are really used to catching balls. It's almost like they have a kind of sixth sense normal people don't have. And maybe that's what happened here. He thought he was just clapping along with the crowd, but that footballer's brain predicted the future and knew the exact moment his hands would need to come together to haphazardly catch the ball coming his way. That seems as good an explanation as saying it was just an amazing accident. But he's not the only one who has experienced the impossible made possible. An earthquake destroyed this entire road in Alaska, except for one bit in exactly the right spot and exactly the right size to stop this car being damaged. I don't know how they'll get it out of there now, but it's fine, and that's what counts. Are you one of those people who gets excited when they see an identical car on the road? The more expensive your car is, the less likely you are to encounter another one, but as cool as it is, I don't think these two drivers were very happy about it. Still, an identical Lamborghini crash is a 1 in a million for sure. It's always great when people manage to turn failure into an opportunity. If you're going to wipe out on your skateboard, then this is definitely the way to do it. He accidentally turned the mistake of falling off his board into something spectacular. Everything was in exactly the right place for the board to seamlessly roll between not one, but two of those people's legs as they walked past without crashing into a thing. With all those moving parts, that should never have been possible. Hear me out. Sometimes lucky things can be unlucky. Brian Dozier found that out when he tried his hand at a home run that would end this game in a tie. Unfortunately, it was cut short when the ball got stuck in the outfield wall. He probably couldn't have done that if he tried. It took an incredible stroke of luck to get the ball right there, but the luck was for the opposing team, and he didn't get the benefit of that incredible moment. Sometimes things just line up perfectly in your life to create the most satisfying outcome, no matter how unlikely it is. These two trucks are maybe the best example of that ever. Taylor Swift probably owes them money now. Some people just have amazing things fall into their lap. This woman was just sitting in the stands at this baseball match, hardly even paying attention as a foul ball comes flying toward her. But instead of the ball just hitting her in the face like it would have if it was someone else in that seat, it lands beautifully in her beer cup. It's no surprise that she's so excited. She just can't believe what happened in front of her. Have you ever seen something so bizarre that it makes you question everything you believe? Well, now you will. Let's ignore how ridiculous it is to transport a styrofoam box in an open truck for a minute, and just watch as the box falls out of the moving truck and bounces back in again. Twice! But that doesn't make sense. It's falling in the opposite direction and then it catches up to a moving truck? I will never understand how that happened.
What have I done wrong? I can't believe this. I've worked so hard.